Hello, you lovelies, and welcome to Coycast, a podcast about pop culture, comic books, and my enjoyment of most people. I'm Coy Jandro. You probably know me from all corners of the internet, usually in video form, but here in pure, raw, uncut, unfettered, unprotected audio. I'm excited to be here because it's been a very, very long couple of weeks, and I get here and Jake has upgraded the whole studio. I'm in the comfiest chair ever, and your favorite thing about podcasts is hearing about things you can't see. How are you, Jake?
I'm great. I did not know that we'd be starting the episode talking about whether or not you were circumcised.
I didn't. I thought it actually really got close to uncircumcised. I was like, unfettered almost turned into uncircumcised.
Well, you said cut, uncut.
It's true. That's true. We did go turtleneck.
We're keeping it real lowbrow.
You know, we want to make sure the Deadpool audience followed me here for the right things. It has been a very long couple weeks in the world of dealing with the world I love normally with the Joker releasing. Jake has not, nor I doubt will see Joker Folie.
I mean, here's the thing: is I might like thumb it.
Oh,
the first one was so unenjoyable to me.
Oh, this one's even more unenjoyable.
But the fact that it's a musical is more intriguing,
right?
And like it's one of those things where I'm sure it'll come to Max at some point.
Oh,
and
within 30 days, it's doing $7 a day.
I might just thumb it and just like I don't know. We'll see. It's one of those things where it's like I feel like I should see it to be a part of the cultural conversation, but also I'm dying like a little bit every day.
I mean, aren't we all?
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Do you want to spend 2 hours of
exactly
what time we have left on this earth?
Like I still haven't seen Game of Thrones. You know?
I'm not gonna.
And
I've seen season 1. And I've seen the last season.
But it's one of those things where people are like, you know, I haven't
seen Better Call Saul. And Breaking Bad's my favorite show ever. And that's truly how little time I haven't seen
Breaking Bad.
That's a great example of like, well,
and
you got
so
other
it's
things.
like at some point I have to start being a little bit more selective.
Yeah.
With stuff that I know, not know, but I assume I'm going to strongly dislike. But I also, as a filmmaker myself, I always want to watch things that I assume I will dislike because then A, I'm usually pleasantly surprised, or B, I can find the things that work, and it's a nice learning experience.
And it's a curated experience. Like, it's good to seek out those things, I think, at times. And it's not an enjoyable movie. It's like a Joker's not like... It's not a fun watch, and it's not even a good movie, but it has really bold things in it that I really respect it doing. And like, I can say the message and themes are really strong while not liking how it's delivered. Like, I can honestly...
You really liked the first one, and I think
I really liked the first one.
Really one of the worst movies I think ever
I gave
made.
the first one 4.5 stars, which is insane for me. And I gave the second one a 3, which is like not great. And but I really like the ending, and I've had the longest week ever accordingly, because people don't have any media literacy. So when I say, hey... the movie's not good, but they just hear the but and then yell at me for disagreeing with their modern hive mind. And it's been, I have never had to defend something I've been so neutral to negative about. Like 3 is only because of the ending. It would have been a 2, which is pure negative. Like 2 is not good. I gave Madam Web a 2. Like it's not a good time. Like Madam Web succeeds in being made. But like, I usually have to defend things I enjoy. It is so much more exhausting defending something that you really have no...
Like, you're literally arguing for the shades of gray. Like, you're arguing...
Yeah,
I'm arguing the Tim Minchin song, The Fence.
100%.
Where he talks all about, like, it's an ode in defense of the fence. Like,
I just want some media literacy, and I want some nuance. And I feel like this is a perfect conversation about nuance and the difference between a message and a movie. And the amount of vitriol and the stupidity. I literally, my favorite tweet that came at me was, if you look for themes and messages in movies, you're mentally ill.
That is
I received
such a
tweet.
sad human.
It's such, I don't think I've ever been more disappointed with humanity, and I've lived through a Trump presidency.
Imagine typing that out. First, imagine thinking it. And then imagine going, you know what? I'm going to use my fingers. And then imagine sending it thinking like, yeah, now the world knows.
And then 12 tweets defending it underneath that I didn't even get through. I read like 3 and I was like, I can't spend, again, how much time do we have? So I got through 3 defenses and was like, okay.
The worst take.
It literally, I've seen some takes.
What's this person's name? Let's make
sure this person, I'm going to bring even more attention to them, because they've not gotten enough attention yet. And I'll read you
By the way, we don't condone cyberbullying on Coycast. This is not something that we condone.
Jake said that. I got the message, and I quote, it's way back. It's been a long week.
I'm going to take a guess right off of the bat that his name is not his name.
Oh, are you okay?
That it's like something, and it's like from a comic book or video game, or it's something like that. Like it's a nod to something.
Okay, it's layers.
And I'm going to guess that his photo is a movie character from a movie that has a very strong theme.
Oh, okay. This is
message.
Fun.
That's my guess.
Okay.
Based on what you just said. Because that level of
ineptitude.
Yeah, and just ignorance, like it has to have some irony.
This is okay. The tweet was message and theme ? It's a movie, period. Lowercase, if you look for messages and themes in a movie, comma, you have severe mental problems, period. It's just a movie.
Okay.
So mental problems are looking for, messages and themes in art. His name on there, the actual @ is @showbizwasbest.
Okay.
And the name he goes by is Don't Vote the Wrong Way.
Okay.
And then the image is some sort of Fozzie Bear Crash Bandicoot thing.
No, that's
Is this a
Oh, I recognize that. Wait, can I see your phone? Yeah, this is what is this guy from? It's an animatronic bear that looks like the sort of thing that's at like a Chuck E. Cheese, but it's from something.
It's from the 80s, not Five Nights at Freddy's. Like it's OG what Five Nights is based on.
Can you do a Google search on that? Save as image.
The layers that we're going through.
Save image and then
So this is how much this lack of just social awareness and media literacy has bothered me that I actually am calling this person out.
What was this terrible takes Twitter name again?
@showbizwasbest, and their name.
When was it best?
And I don't vote the wrong way is a hell of a. But yeah, literally that tweet came across, and I received thousands of these, but that was the one where I was like, oh, there's no point in even continuing to talk if this is the way it's being received. Blissfully, that's not 99% of the internet, but the 1% is millions of people. But like, if you even look at the math, 1% is still millions of stupid.
Are you like, is there any part of you that's like, yeah, I think I'm gonna have to be done with Twitter?
I know that 40% of my YouTube views come from Twitter. When I look at my analytics.
Like clicks.
Yeah.
But here's my question. Is that just because that's where the people who follow you find out you have a new video?
Probably.
Because those people, and I'm not saying it won't go down at all if you stop using Twitter, but there is a possibility that those people will then just seek it out or through a different channel.
I think if my page gets to scale and it dips below 20%, I can bail. Like I don't find joy in it anymore. Even like
it's a rancid place.
Oh, it's the worst. And it's also like very dead internet. Like it's also more bots than people. And it's also just vitriol with the occasional moments of glee. And I really love the people I've connected with on there. And I have a lot of like internet friends on Twitter. But I think if it gets to the point where it's not actually financially worthwhile, no reason.
I just want you to know that when you search for that, when you just do a search for his name, or I'm assuming it's a he. No woman is this dumb.
No. Women.
When I search for the name, the first thing that comes up is somebody responding to his response to you.
Oh my God, I made him a little bit internet famous.
With Buzz Lightyear. the gif of Buzz Lightyear saying, there seems to be no sign of intelligent life anywhere. That's the first thing that comes
much. Up. Let the record show, I do not condone cyberbullying to this scale, but I do think that just an education is so important. And I really advocate for people to like learn like about the arts, about anything, just have knowledge. I'm really just worried about, I don't think I'm as worried about this country anymore as I am traditionally. I think I'm just worried about like our species after the Joker came out, because I don't know what we do with this level of misunderstanding and stupidity.
Right.
And it's only going to get worse. Like we're only deeping the hole of stupidity. But yeah, how was your week, man?
Wait, I'm sorry. I know you wanted to move on, but it's Billy Bob Broccoli.
Okay.
And I'm just trying to figure out
where Billy Bob Broccoli's from.
Yeah.
How deep does the rabbit hole go?
Billy Bob Broccoli is what this is, and it must be from. It's actually from Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh wow!
It's a Chuck E. Cheese character.
Okay.
Billy Bob. He's the bad guy. He's the Chuck E. Cheese.
Maybe this guy's just a troll and he got me. Like, I mean, it was very effective. And then defending it is, I mean, that's next level stupid. So maybe it's just like he enjoys it. And maybe right now we're giving what he wants. In which
Billy
case,
Bob Broccoli. And broccoli is spelled Brock, like Brock Lesnar, Ali. Not that I'm drawing a parallel between him and Brock Lesnar. I just,
I hope we've made this troll very happy because we've given him a lot of airwaves.
He is, from the Rock-a-Fire Explosion. Yeah, anyways. Okay, sorry. This was way more
like I've said, I've never had to defend a bad movie so hard. The movie's not good, but I really like, and when you see it, I really want your opinion because you didn't like the first film.
No.
And because you and I see eye to eye on more than we don't, even though this podcast illustrates the moments we don't. Like, I generally think, we've talked about it before, like, we're 80% similar, but the podcast is a lot of the split.
Well, because there's not a lot of good conversation to be had with, like, hey, was it good? Yeah.
I also agree it was good.
Yeah, nobody wants to listen to people agree with each other for an hour. That's not fun.
That's not the internet. Here we are on the internet. I do yell internet as my tagline. I honestly think you'll get what I got out of it. I don't know if your experience will vary as far as how much joy that brought you. But I'm really curious as to your take on it. It's definitely, I mean, it's doing dozens of dollars in theaters, so you'll only have
meaning it's not doing good.
It's bombing.
Really?
It got a smaller box office opening than Madam Web. It's got the lowest cinema score of all time.
Well, okay, let me ask you this. Is it because, and I know I'm generalizing, I just want to apologize to the listeners who are beautiful, beautiful souls who did like the first movie. I'm not talking about you, but I am talking about the very loud percentage that we see on the internet.
Yes.
Okay, so I apologize if this sounds offensive, but is it because the types of people who thought the first one was peak cinema are the crossover kind of Snyder bro-y, they just like the things that they think are deep and dark, even though they're actually dearth of emotion. And they hated the fact that this is a musical with Lady Gaga. And so they just immediately went, well, it's bad. I'm not going to see it.
That is only half the equation. Because the other half is that this movie attacks them directly.
Oh, interesting. So, but they don't know that. The point I'm trying to make, is like why people aren't going to see it.
I assume people hear about it and then word of mouth dwindles. You know what I mean? Like if you hear about the ending, which if you seek it out, you can find, you'll find out what it does. And I think you go, well, I'm returning my tickets. Like, because I've literally gotten people like, oh, Warner Bros. Wants to burn money. And I think that Todd Phillips made a conscious choice because he'd already made $1 billion to go like,
or did DC have a little bit more oversight on?
I don't think they had any oversight.
Because by the way, I'm still not a fan of Todd Phillips.
This film is insanely not the thing to make money. Like it's by the nature of the film, it is designed aggressively to not make money. And that's what I like about it. Like it's very aggressive, which is the Joker. But again, like once you see it, I really want to have that conversation one day. And I'm really curious. 818-794-0722. I'd love to have conversations with people that 80% of the people I know did not even like the ending. But if you liked it or not, I'd love to have the conversation about your experience with it. And if you could be spoiler free for Jake, that'd be great. It's not easy. But maybe he'll catch it.
When it comes to Joker, I might just not care.
That's also
I also might not be able to avoid it.
By the time you get to it, that also might be a thing.
And in fairness, I've been really disconnected. I think.
How is that? Is that peaceful?
Settling in. It's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, because I'm not you, and I've done a pretty good job of curating over the years.
Sure.
And so let's just say like we're still settling in. Coy mentioned like, oh, the studio's we're getting there. Like, but there's still nothing. The walls are still empty. They're painted, but they're empty. We still don't have like the sofa in here. Like we're still doing a lot of work every day. There's something around the house. I have this job that I've taken on in post-production, and that's taking up like a ton of my time. And then when it is time to like relax and just gonna unwind, watch a movie, like I said, we don't have a couch. Do you know what I mean? Like,
that's gotta be next, right?
So there's just like, there's a lot of little things that are all happening, and I'm not even necessarily choosing to be like very disconnected from social media. It's just kind of happening.
Great.
And so this is all the first I'm hearing about the Joker stuff. Do you know what I mean?
What a gift.
Which is like kind of
I've been living this
great,
since Monday, dude. This is a full week.
Yeah, Coy walked into my house today and literally like he just had like a ghost on his back.
I'm so tired, dude.
Yeah.
I'm literally exhausted. I saw this movie last Monday and I left going, oh, that's going to piss a lot of people off.
Right.
And then I didn't realize it was going to be me somehow being the face of it. Like,
Right.
I never would have thought, like, I didn't enjoy that, but here's one element I liked. I would suddenly be like, I'm the Joker.
Right.
Like, it's exhausting.
Right.
That said.
So, but wait, let me finish. So that's the like benefit.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Please tell me column B.
But there are so many little things, like we're in season now for television and for there's all sorts of stuff. And there are things that I am missing, that I'm noticing I'm missing after the fact. Taskmaster's back for season 18, one of my favorite shows.
Congrats.
And like, that's like, yeah, the episodes come out and we watch it on the app, but so much of that show is the community behind it.
Yeah.
And I love all of the like the BTF that gets posted on like YouTube and all the stuff like on all the Twitter channels. And there's like lots of stuff that I'm realizing like, I didn't, the fucking podcast where they like it's sort of like a post-show podcast.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh fuck, I'm like 4 weeks behind on that because I didn't see the post about it and I forgot about it. I guess the same thing where it's like, I could see why people are driven to your YouTube, even if they follow you, where it's like, it's the reminder.
Yeah.
Like,
Right. Check that out.
Let me click this right now.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of things I'm also like just kind of missing, but in the middle of those two things is we are in election season. And that alone, outside of pop culture, outside of everything, that alone is a very double-edged sword.
I've been able to avoid like, most of it.
But that thing is, I'm feeling like I'm not seeing all of the vitriol and nightmare, and I'm just getting to see the kind of fun, joyous shit when that the fucking
some gaff
or like the late night hosts are all poking fun at the same couple bits. I'm like, okay, you get enough to know what's going on, but simultaneously, I also feel like I would say for the past 10 years, when I first got to LA, I was my head was up my own ass a little bit more than I would like to maybe admit as far as like being politically active. But like for the first time in 10 years, I feel like I have no idea what's going on. And I'm not talking about presidential election. I'm talking about like passing. The down ticket. And I'm talking about like local politics, like all of the, the propositions and like I have no idea what's happening. And usually by this time every year, I already have a list. I already have like all this research I'm doing. And I feel very, very, very misinformed right now because of the fact that I'm so unplugged. And that is a little worrisome. I don't like that feeling.
Yeah.
I like feeling plugged into what's happening in local politics.
That's definitely a column B. That's fair.
Yeah.
But that's like a couple hours within the week of that
You're right.
It's not like that will sway. If you know what you stand for, you don't need all the politics. And you can vote according to what you actually stand for.
Also, it does help that like there's so many people out there doing great work. Like the fact that like every year, I know for a fact Adam Conover probably puts out a list and he goes like, hey, if you live in LA and these are things you care about.
Yeah, see how I see things.
Yeah, this is a breakdown of what everything means, and there's a lot of. And he's not the only one, but a lot of people do that. My buddy Brian is.
I should talk to Maggie a lot. Week of.
Yeah,
Maggie's very helpful because Maggie's so plugged in.
Yeah.
So I mean, I personally am not the type to go like my friend that thinks like me said this, and I don't then double down. Like I get a base, and then I look into what A and B are, and then I make a decision. But at least I like to know where to start. And I personally, if I start that now, I'm gonna lose my mind. I'm gonna do it the week of. Like fair. I can't.
I understand that.
I can't stand at 11 for a month, dude. I know it's only 30 days, but also if I have that much anxiety for 30 days, I'll have a heart attack. Like I just can't.
Totally understandable.
So about November 1, I'll be like, time to learn. And then I'll be really stressed for 4 days.
Right.
But yeah, it's a really interesting season here in LA. Production does seem to be ramping up a bit, but I've also, did you hear about the YouTube thing?
No.
YouTube officially passed Netflix, Hulu, all that as the biggest TV streamer. So they're actually investing infrastructure into
meaning what?
More people watch YouTube on their TVs.
Okay, so
number-wise,
meaning like the apps, like app time.
But on television, app time is higher than any streamer.
But they're not watching TV shows.
But that's what they're trying to change. Is they're trying to allow creators to make seasons of shows on YouTube.
YouTube Premium does have some television shows though, right?
So, but they're trying to let creators format it in a TV setting as of like 2 weeks ago. So I'm really curious how that changes what creators are making, all the people that are out of work in the industry, if they're going to shift to that platform, because at least it's a monetizable platform.
Sure. Yeah, I definitely feel like
people are hungry.
But also, man, like I had living not in LA and it's bad enough with people that live in LA. So I'm not just dogging anybody who doesn't live here because there's a lot of idiots here too. But pretty much living in like suburbia for a year and living with like,
you got to see the world.
What Alexandra and I like to commonly refer to as ordinary fucking people, based on a very fantastic episode of Party Down, which if you've never seen, you should.
Also not an insult to the ordinary people.
No, but it's
said with love because I miss the world.
If you know Rob Corddry, imagine Rob Corddry going, ordinary fucking people. And you'll know exactly why we say it, right? So anyways, everybody is so angry about how much streaming things cost. And I spent the better part of a year arguing with people about how they think things make money.
Yeah.
Like, how do you think TV shows make, like, how do you think it works?
Yeah.
And it's incredible because nobody really, you would think that in a world that entertainment started with television, do you know what I mean? Like, you would assume that people would go like, oh, well, it's about advertising, right? Like, and the amount of people who are so upset yet are like, they want so much more than what they have.
Yeah.
Yet everybody sits through YouTube ads. And nobody seems to complain about the YouTube ads.
Yeah.
What is it about the YouTube ad experience
that's different than
that
a
makes
commercial break?
Is it because there's a skip option?
I think
and there's some apps there aren't.
Yeah. That's what I assume. I also assume when you watch something I think people get used to it on their phone, and that's where you're skipping things normally. Then they put it on their TV, and their subconscious was like,
okay,
oh, this
that's
is
smart.
YouTube. This is the platform of my phone. And now they've accepted that because it's a format.
Right. It's
so
like
that's what I think.
It's like a user experience.
100%. And I think a visual cue really helps. I think the way they're looking at that frame, also the types of ads feel like YouTube ads. Like when you watch a YouTube ad, there's a flavor to it. I think you accept 5 seconds of that in a different way subconsciously. I think it's just a totally different subconscious where your brain's like, yeah, YouTube.
Right.
Like this is what whereas adding ads to Amazon is like, fuck you. Like there's an aggressive, like I didn't have this for years. Why is this here?
You didn't have that for years, and
no one made money.
We canceled all your favorite shows.
Right. And Netflix is like making lots and lots of stuff no one watches. Perhaps that should get shrunk.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the answer is. Obviously, it's not my job to, but it's my job to go, wonder what's next.
There is, I mean, there is something, the socialist anti-capitalist in me definitely does have a part of me that goes like, well, yeah, you could stop having ads and you could stop paying these 6 fucks at the top so much money.
Yeah, but that's
because there is part of me that is just like, well, maybe we don't need to, because it's not like these companies aren't making any money.
No, but only 5 people on each end. Like
exactly.
That's not going to change because of where we live.
Yeah.
And that's also not going to change because of how the system, even if it goes to YouTube, that will democratize it way more, infinitely more. But whoever owns YouTube is still going to be making way more than anyone that's making YouTube. Like, I don't think socialism and art will ever be bedfellows in our lifetime.
I mean, that's not true. They've already been bedfellows in our lifetime. It's just art that you're not seeing, that you're not aware of.
Sure. Okay, that's fair.
because
bedfellows to scale.
Because I don't think you see movies that are fed to you.
Right.
Not saying that, I'm not insulting you that you don't seek out movies.
But
like,
I do.
You know what I mean? Like,
I do find the movies that are smaller budget having more heart because they had to get through a lot more. But I also think that the commercial films have merit in a different way.
Oh yeah.
So like, I don't think, I love Strange Darling. That's not going to keep a movie theater open.
Right.
I respect that certain other things have to exist to keep that open. So I think capitalism and socialism have to at least high five each other in that creative endeavor.
Right.
Because of what it costs to run things. Like, it's just, our system is so at a foundation capitalist that I don't think socialism can catch up in our lifetime to keep the things open, to keep us in exhibition industry.
Right. Totally.
That's all.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, man. At the end of the day, I kind of feel like, just advertise to me whatever you want. Just pay people to keep telling stories. Like, that's kind of where I'm at. Like, just more money for people to make things and tell good stories. I would rather have commercials than no story.
Oh,
and I think that most people aren't aware that those are the options moving forward.
Right. I agree. And that's what scares me about the rest of the world.
Right.
Especially the rest of our country. Like, I just don't think there's an understanding of it's a job.
There was literally a video that, God, oh fuck, I wish I could remember the user. Actually, I think it might have been something, speaking of Adam Conover, it might have been something that he spoke about on his YouTube channel, or maybe it was somebody else I follow. I don't know. I'm spiraling. But there's somebody out there who very earnestly, he's like some YouTube vlogger, younger guy though. Like, he's got to be, I don't know the name of them, but he's got to be like in his 20s now. I don't know the generational name for someone in their 20s now. Is that a Zennial maybe?
I think it's an elder Zennial, a Gen Z kid.
Yeah. So anyways, and he very earnestly, in complaining about ads being added and prices going up to streaming service, very earnestly and unwillingly came up with television. Like literally, and he was super serious. He's like, I don't understand why it can't just be like this way. How about we all just pay for one service, and like that service can just have ads throughout anything you watch, and it just has all of the so there will be like a channel for the stuff that's on Paramount Plus and a channel for the stuff that's on Disney. And he literally retroactively described like on TV on demand, though still on demand, but like, but he described television, and it's just like, yeah,
the TiVo era.
It worked. It worked.
I think the problem also is attention spans. I think that when TV was TV, we understood 30-minute television. I don't think that makes sense anymore. And I don't think we can regrow our attention spans. I really worry that a 30-second ad feels like an eternity to people.
Yeah, I don't know. I always argue with Alexandra because Alexandra is still very much in that mindset of if we're watching a movie, she's like, is there ads on this? And I get it because like,
a movie's different.
I get it. But my argument
I'll
is
watch
always,
ads before the movie.
Sure. Well, and because there's a lot of like Tubi, Freevee, like there's all of those, Pluto, all these other apps, which they're perfectly fine. A lot of them have movies that aren't other places for a short while. So like those are all, I have them all on my letterbox as service options so I can see what's where, when I'm looking stuff up. And every time something comes up or we spin the wheel and we get a movie and it's like, oh, it's only available on Pluto or something, she'll be like, oh, like I don't want to constantly like have to stop. And then my argument is always like, I understand that.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, there are some movies that I wouldn't do that. Like there is an echelon, right? If we were watching, fucking The Mist, I would be like, no commercials.
I'm not going to like Interstellar, McConaughey's crying.
100%. Yeah. But my argument is always like, let me ask you a question, babe. When we are just watching a movie generally, how many times
do we pause?
Do you think we pause it to go grab a snack or to take a pee or because the dog is doing something downstairs and we have to go downstairs and figure out what the hell he's barking at?
Yep.
Like we pause so much more than I think we would be willing to admit.
Control versus being fed something out of your, it's a mentality. It's totally just like accepting that.
But I'm not ready to pause right now.
Exactly. Also, like, don't tell me what's happening while I'm paused. Like, don't give me new data. I don't know what the answer is other than TV.
No, I think the answer is people need to fucking.
Well, we're not gonna go the other way.
Stop being so entitled.
That's bold. I feel like that's the one thing we get more with every improvement of technology is we assume that we need the best of that thing or we deserve the best of that thing. Right. We assume that it has to be able to go another way and we'll just figure it out.
Yeah.
Entertainment industry, you make billions of dollars, figure it out. But yeah, that's been the last 2 weeks.
Aren't all the actors rich?
Yeah. I mean, certainly all the ones I know are living in their yachts.
Why can't they give me some money?
That's also, I think it's funny. Like people think of companies differently than actors, but it's the same. Like the owner of Target has billions and Tom Cruise has billions, but everyone that works at Target doesn't have billions. Like it's the same thing with to scale capitalism. It's the same hierarchy of you only see those 30 people and even people that you're seeing in like that girl from Bottoms, that picture of her in her apartment. Everybody's like, oh my God, she still rents. And I was like, yeah, she will for a while.
What's that? Tell me, I don't know what you're talking about.
There was a photo shoot where one of the girls from Bottoms like did it in her apartment and she lives in like a 2-bedroom Hollywood apartment, probably on like Normandy or Alexandria, like one of those streets that actors live on.
Right.
And it looks like it's been repainted every time someone's moved out every year. Like it's one of those apartments. And everyone was like, that's insane. How can she live like that? And I was like, everyone you see on TV lives like that until they don't. Like that is the standard that you don't see.
Right.
And I was so like, that's gangster. Like to do that, like just live that. Iowa DeBerry had like all of her awards nominations, had like 3 movies and 2 shows.
Right.
And she came out and she's like, there was talking about wealth inequality. She's like, I still rent. And I was like, correct. Like everyone does.
Yeah. The actress, British actress, Charlotte Ritchie, she's the lead in the UK Ghosts. She's also just like very brilliant in lots of other things. But I was listening to a podcast with her a couple of weeks ago, and she mentioned something about our flatmate.
Yeah,
and I had like I had that moment of like, whoa, like wait, why do you have a fucking flat? But then I'm like, no, I guess it's like also she's younger. She's not like she's like a younger, and even though I'm sure she's pretty well off, especially, but like it's also I think part of it is just like that's also like a way some people just like to live.
And also a way to be social, like a way to stay sane out of the industry.
Yeah.
I know so many creators like TikTok, YouTube, like that new generation, the Gen Z and Zennial, who live in like hives. They live with like 8 people.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Like the creator homes.
Right. Yeah.
And like then they go on red carpets and they have like all new suits every time because they're sharing a house with 8 people.
Well, that's the other thing too. It's like keeping your overheads low, which is the thing I've always done before I met Alexandra.
Yeah.
I used to live by, as long as I don't have a lot of bills, I'm fine.
See, I can't share space.
Yeah.
Unless I can't wake up and see someone first thing in the morning unless we're like the best.
Oh, well,
I've lost so many friends making roommates.
Well, see, do you remember? Well, no, because we started this in 2020. So you don't remember my old style pre-Alexandra. So I always get an apartment by myself. I always get a 2-bedroom apartment.
Okay.
And then I just personally just sublet the room to.
You still got to wake up and have someone in your house.
Here's the thing: is they're never a long term, and yeah, of course, but like they're people that I choose and people that I can get rid of because they're staying in my apartment.
That's something.
And the reality is I've never like gotten rid of anybody. You know what I mean? Like,
but that freedom to know.
But it's also just like, yeah, I have the room available. And if somebody's like, hey, I need a place for 3 months, 4 months, great, that's fine. And I know the end is in the air.
Yeah.
And at that point, and the reality is by doing so, it's been great because one, you don't have close friends.
Yeah.
Who you're staying with, who you then end up like, oh, now we might not be friends anymore because nothing kills a friendship like being roommates. You also. I've made friends that way because it was like a temporary living thing, and then we stayed friends. You know, like and I also like just through word of mouth, I ended up with like some people who I'm just like, God, these people are like the best roommates I've ever had. My old roommate Messiah, who was the guy who lived with me. He's a Japanese fellow who was a Japanese resident, but Japan
citizen.
Citizen. He was here on like a work visa because he worked for Warner Brothers. He wasn't in charge, but he worked as like a hierarchy of the like. International development. So like what Japanese Warner Brothers projects are worth adapting for American audiences or even sending. So like that was what his job was. And so we were right there in Burbank. So it was really convenient. And he ended up staying with me for like 8 months. And I was like, God, you could stay as long as you want. But honestly, that it was like the best roommate I've ever had in my entire life. Like I loved that dude so much. And right when he was leaving to go back, that was when I met Alexandra. So I was like, perfect. Alexandra, move in. We're done. Like, but it was like perfect because of timing. But
then you tell someone that isn't in the entertainment industry that the Japanese ambassador to Warner Brothers and a working actor that does stand up. Like, if you tell those on paper, but that's what I'm saying.
No, you're right.
On paper, those people are like, they have houses. Like, that is the misconception of what this town actually pays.
Can I tell you the funniest? I almost cried of laughter when I was in New York, and a friend that I have not seen since high school, maybe in my early 20s before I moved away, was like, hey, so I saw like you made a movie and it was at like, you know, and literally was like, you must be so rich. Like that was what he said. He said, you must be so rich. And I was like, you mean the movie that I lost money on that I still have not recuperated? By the way, Pinch, available now on Amazon. I'm begging you, go buy the movie.
Hasn't plugged it in like a year.
Go buy the movie.
Watch Pinch.
I am still in the red on that movie. I have not made my money back.
Funny.
Okay. Movie's been out for 4 years.
But even like red carpets, all the glamour that we exude, if you look left or right, it's just a wall. Like that is the metaphor for Hollywood people don't. My dad is in town for work through the week. So on the weekends, he's staying with me.
Okay.
So during the week, he's at work, which is like an hour away, but on the weekends.
Gotcha.
And I had the premiere of My Hero Academia's new movie yesterday. So I brought my dad. And it was so cool to bring my dad to a red carpet, but it was so funny for him to see like it's roughly 30 feet of carpet, and then the world is regular.
Right. And also what's behind that step and repeat is just like a dumpster.
Yeah, like it's Hollywood. And so it was so cool to show my dad like this is why people see this, and then you turn left or right. And he's always seen Hollywood for what it is because like he's had a son that tells him all of it.
Sure.
But it was really cool to show him in real time like, Dad, you got to press record on my phone for these red carpet interviews. That's the reality of it. So it's been really interesting seeing the world get mad at Hollywood and then anyone from outside it going like, oh, right.
Yeah.
But we also have to keep up appearances in order, like posting Gettys and stuff. I hate that part of the job.
Well, I will never fucking do that shit. That is all you, buddy.
You've seen I've cut that in a tenth.
Anytime I see someone post a fucking Getty image thing, I'm just like, you couldn't pay for your own fucking photo, you dick. You're so broke. What you're telling me is that you're so poor that you had to steal a watermarked photo of yourself. not only are you a vainglorious fucking sociopath,
Yes.
but you're a broke one. That's what I see.
All those adjectives.
Anybody who goes like, look, I took a
It me.
Get the fuck out of here. By the way, Getty goes everywhere. Okay.
If I had a
premiere,
so good.
If I premiered fucking diarrhea on the corner, I can get Getty to show up and take a picture of it and then post it.
I haven't had to do Getty in a couple of days when it's time. No, I just think it's the dichotomy, to use my word I often overuse, is really interesting in perception versus reality. And I think that's part of what we're struggling with rebuilding this town is people getting mad at, unions and whatnot while the world's all poor. Like everyone's broke and you can blame the entertainers because they think it's free to entertain us, but it's very expensive to entertain.
It is. It's very expensive. And it's the ultimate irony is that people are like, oh, well, man, LA is just so expensive. Just leave LA. Where the stuff is?
Yeah. What I don't know what I'd do in most like job markets. Like what skills?
I
just did for a living.
I just did it for a year. I'm well aware. Like, there's a reason why I had to pivot like heavily into post-production because it was the only thing I could do remotely.
My dad was describing house prizes in Georgia outside of Atlanta, like not in Atlanta,
Sure,
but
of course.
in Georgia. And then a friend of his just moved to Tennessee and those houses sounded like free to me. And they're still so much money, but like comparatively, I'm like, but what would I do there?
And
like,
you also have to live in Georgia.
That's what I mean. Like, I don't know what I would do.
It's so gross.
It's so humid.
It's so gross. It's so humid. This is the best state. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. California is the best state. I would contemplate living in Oregon. I'd contemplate living in Washington.
Just up the same.
That's only because of the coast.
Only
because and honestly, and then to a slightly lesser degree, Colorado.
Okay.
But Colorado is also like a very red state with a little purple dot in Denver.
114 last year, man.
But
I don't know. Or this year.
But
that was terrifying.
Yeah, but that's everywhere.
Yeah, no, that's what worries me is the fact that we're on the coast.
And by the way,
14.
that 98 in Atlanta, or I'm saying Atlanta or in Georgia, feels like 120 because of the humidity. Now we're just talking about weather.
Yeah,
but anyways.
You know what? This is a podcast about pop culture. We're going to get back to it. Do we have a new gift horse this month? I do believe we're on the new month.
We do have to select a new gift horse. Listen, we're still getting settled here and powering through, and the schedule's a little bit wonky. I know these are all been kind of back to back. But I do want to apologize. Our current unpunchable gift horse for the month of September, Marco Tunstill. I have yet to send you your confirmation email. I'm so sorry. I've been so busy, but I will do it today after recording. So you should keep your eye on your email that you signed up for Patreon with Marco to get all that. And once again, sorry about that. Also, I want to say we are like so behind on our gift horse watches.
Yes, roughly 5 minutes.
Because of all the things. But Coy and I are dedicated now to catch up. We have received Echo in the Mirror, who is
holding a Blu-ray
gift horse from July and August, sent us both a Blu-ray of his pick, which we're very excited about having because one, we love adding Blu-rays to our collection, and two, don't have to worry about finding it.
Also heard very good things about this particular movie.
We're catching up. We know a lot of you are like, hey, that was 6 months ago that I gave you something.
We're so sorry.
Also, we're a little sorry.
We're approaching so sorry.
Listen,
it's the more months go by.
We're doing the best we can.
We truly are. And I've got New York Comic Con in 2 weeks. Finding 2 hours to watch a movie that I'm not reviewing is so hard.
We're just a couple of schmucks with a podcast that doesn't make much money. Okay?
Doesn't make, yeah.
So that's what we are.
This is, I think, both of our lowest paid per hour job.
We're just hanging out
since the 90s.
And we just want you guys.
We're just vibing. We're doing what we can.
We just want you guys to just hang out.
Yeah, we're doing our best.
Anyways, it is indeed time to pick our unpunchable gift horse of the month for the month of October, our official spookies unpunchable gift horse.
A spooky pick.
If you don't know what the hell we're talking about because it's your first time listening to the podcast, well, thank you so much. Appreciate you hanging out with us.
Weird app to join, but I hope you liked it.
In any case, what this is each and every month, eligible patrons, gift horse patrons, specifically from our Patreon over at patreon.com/Coycast, get entered into this monthly contest, the winner is chosen randomly, and that person gets to pick something for us to add to our watch list for the aforementioned patron-only pod. And you get an item you're choosing from the shop over at dragonmakershop.com, plus your name in lights in the Discord if you happen to be in the Discord. And also just clout for the rest of your life, knowing that you were the unpunchable gift horse that month. And if you don't know why they're called unpunchable gift horse, well, you got to just go back and listen. You got to just listen to old episodes.
That's a lot of stuff you get. A lot of stuff.
Go look for the video of that clip on the internet.
It is a minute of pure glory. It's one of my favorite animatics.
By the way, if you only ever buy Coycast merchandise from dragonwagonshop.com, I have recently discovered that the unpunchable gift horse shirt, or the punchable gift horse shirt, I should say, the don't punch a gift horse in the mouth shirt, is like on a bunch of those like
there's bootleg shirts,
like generic t-shirt shops that just aggregate things from the internet. Do you know how like sometimes
we got ripped? I'm kind of proud of that.
But it's all just like bots that like crawl.
Right.
And they're
that
available.
means it got popular enough to be aware. Like I'm a little flattered.
Yeah. Well, they're everywhere. But they're also probably, the print is garbage because it's not full
there's
res.
no way. Because they're taking it off the thumbnail.
Yeah.
Don't buy a bootleg, but I really want to see one in the wild though. I don't
want to see one in the wild.
I want to see like a pixelated one.
No.
And be like, that you got ripped off, kid.
Don't give the kids any idea.
Don't do it. Buy a real one.
All right.
Because we don't see any pennies from the bootlegs.
We barely see pennies from the
That's
regular
what I'm saying.
ones.
We see no pennies there. We see a couple pennies here.
All right. Without further ado, it is time to spin the wheel. Our unpunchable gift horse for the month of October 2024 is... we argued about the pronunciation of the name, Doug Chiarello. Doug Chiarello, Duger 13, if I'm not mistaken.
Good old Duger. After coming in clutch for my birthday, good old Duger swings in for October.
Doug Chiarello has... Wait a minute. Oh my gosh, Doug is so long overdue. I don't think Doug has ever. Is that possible?
Is that possible? He's like an OG.
Oh, okay, no, I'm sorry. May 24. May of this year. So it's only his second time, but he had never won previously in 2022 or 2023.
That's crazy.
He's
still overdue for a second win in 2.5 years.
Doug, for the second time this year, which just goes to show you kids, we've got a lot of really fantastic dedicated patrons. We really appreciate all of your support. But when it comes to the gift horse tier, there's not a giant amount. So your odds of winning and winning repeats is pretty good. So another way that the Patreon gives back. And so it's even cheaper because inevitably you'll end up with some swag.
Yeah. Real swag, not bootleg swag.
Actual high resolution
swag.
So once again, Doug, thanks to you. And thanks to everybody for your continued support of the program.
It's how this is possible.
And we will send that email to you as well as to Marco from September as soon as possible. Good. Keep your eye on the email. We appreciate you.
Also, this is the first time I think in the history of hotlines where we don't have any hotline calls. So we're not ignoring folks. We did a ton the last couple of weeks, even during the Zoom era. So if you want to get in and be the co-host of this very show,
yes,
818-794-0722. This is our, I think we have one more recording before Halloween, but now that you're back, is there anything that is specifically West Coast Halloween that you missed? Because this is your first Halloween back?
No, because the reality is like in the past like 10 years, I haven't been in a Halloweeny place. Like the old neighborhood, even
mentally?
in Burbank. No. Like physically, like
understood.
It
is hard in the heat.
The town that we are currently in, I'm not sure if you are aware, but Alexandra found this somewhere. It's one of those things where I feel like sometimes she just makes stuff up. She might be making this up. She might just be lying to me. But
did you not Google it?
She Googled like best Halloween towns in Los Angeles, and we are the number one Halloween town in Los Angeles.
Dude, that's exciting! Like trick-or-treaters,
and just like decor.
It's definitely got like a hocus pocus vibe. It's got like a residential
little bit up in the
suburb.
Well, it's also up in the mountains, and it's a little bit more trees, a little
tucked away.
The neighborhood's a little more tucked away, yeah. And so what we're very excited about, even on our block, there's already some people that have some fun decor up.
Yeah, I saw a life-size boy out there.
Oh yeah, we're hoping that we get some trick-or-treaters, but also there is a slim possibility that on the day I will be flying to New York.
Oh no!
It all depends.
That's so ironic.
It all depends on this commercial gig that I've got potentially that I might be shooting.
It's real specific.
If I book that, I will be here working that day, but at least I will then be around that night, and then I'd be leaving the next day.
Yeah.
But my godfather's getting married, and so I need to sort out how the hell I'm getting to New York back for that. He couldn't have just gotten married while we were there.
You were there so long.
Would have been so much easier. Guy. Come on, you.
I'm sure that's what he's thinking about with a very stressful wedding. As we're both fiancéed up trying to figure out weddings, I'm sure that's first on his mind.
Yeah, but anyways, so there is a slim chance I'm not here for it. I'm a little bit bummed out, but also Alexandra and I kind of like we kind of have a non-Halloween Halloween every year because it's also one of the it's the first super busy day for her job because she works in a college admissions prep. I'm not sure if I talked about that in the show. I might have mentioned it. And November 1st is the very first deadline.
Oh.
So she pretty much works all day on the 31st and into the night. So generally what we do is like she works, takes a little, maybe she has some time. We watch a little spooky movie. Nice. We hang out. We do like something spooky, but like the actual day of Halloween has been fairly uneventful for us.
Okay.
But since we're back here, we definitely, we want to like embark on some more like seasonal Halloween events throughout the month.
I want to do some apple cider. I want to do some like apple picking. I want to go like
we definitely want to go. I told the Shanes to put on the books because our problem is that if we talk about it and we don't put on the books, it
doesn't happen. All of a sudden it's December.
Yep. So we definitely want to go pumpkin patching because we want to carve a little because we have this beautiful little patio.
You can actually you got this whole little cute family setup.
Yeah. And so we're gonna like we want to put some pumpkins out front. We want to do like we made our spooky season movie lists.
Nice.
A couple nights ago. So, over the next couple, although the irony is that because of the way that we record these, our spooky season movies that we watch this month will all be talked about in November once it's already too late.
That's maybe a couple next time.
Yeah, no, you're probably right by next time.
Yeah, but there'll be more in November.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I don't know. What about you?
I'm always looking forward to watching The Crow on the 30th.
We're doing that too.
It's a very important tradition. My fiance had never seen it. So this is only her second time seeing it ever because I showed it to her last year. I definitely want to like try to be more, I don't know. It sounds weird, but like I want to do less drinking Halloween-y stuff.
I like this.
As I age, I don't enjoy the sauce as much. So I'm trying to find traditions that aren't just like getting Zero Dark 30 in a costume. So I feel like pumpkin patch is cute. Apple picking's cute. I don't know. 36 kind of hit like 31 did, where like you kind of count down till 30 and then it happens. You're like, I feel the same. But then 31, I was like, I'm 30. 36, I'm definitely like more resolute. I'm kind of just vibing. I'm like, I just want to calm down. Like all of my things that aren't work, I just want to mellow. So I'm in like a mellow Halloween for the first time. Right. Like I don't want to spend a lot of money on a costume. I don't want to put a lot of effort.
You don't want to do the Halloween party guy stuff.
Not this year. Maybe it'll come back.
Well, also, this has been my take on Halloween for ages, and I know people disagree with me, but I've always felt like Halloween was kind of a hookup holiday.
Oh, it definitely is.
And I always thought like,
but I got my lifetime hookup person.
That's what I was gonna say. Is like when you're single, like Halloween is like, oh, I'm gonna like.
That's true. It is a party you can count on meeting people.
I want to go meet some people, and there's like something kind of fun and sexy about people like and like.
There's some
as the Brits call it, like like fancy dress.
Yeah.
Like there's like something kind of like fun and sexy and weird.
It's for the youths, man.
It's also just like it's something about it's such a weird thing that a bunch of grown-ups put on stupid outfits and then hang out and drink.
Best.
So what happens is the fact that the situation's already kind of weird, your inhibitions are already a little bit loose. I think that people are just more likely to like be relaxed.
Yeah.
Like people tend to like not be uptight at a Halloween party as much as like
it's a fun vibe.
As much as just like, oh, we're getting together and hanging out. So I think because it's always been like a hookup thing for me.
This is my first engaged Halloween. Maybe that's
why you're just like I'm not interested in going out.
I'm good.
I'm not trying to get laid.
I just want to go apple picking because I'm old now. But yeah, it's a different vibe, and I'm kind of happy about it. Like it just seems like I'll have more energy on the first. The first is usually like an off day because I have to recover from my stupidity. Now I'm like, I'll go into the fall vibing.
I respect that.
So yeah, we'll update you guys next time we record. That is going to be today's very chill episode of meandering conversations about pop culture and Joker. And man, I'm very excited for this fall. It has been a hot summer. And again, sorry about the weather talk, but it is very interesting as age happens, how I just want to like lean back into the chair and talk about art in a much more removed way than party and rage about stuff. Even when it comes to things I'm defending, I'm just like, hey, peace be with you, as you were. Please join us.
Isn't that a Catholic thing? You turn into like an Irish Catholic?
For a moment, I think a little bit of my Boston heritage rubbed off on me.
Yeah, you can't.
I don't know. I wanted to like quote some Latin just now, but I got nothing. Totally lost my train of thought.
You were gonna say you're gonna do all the end of the episode stuff.
I was about to, and then I got Jesus.
You're gonna do the hotline. Dude, say the hotline number.
794.
I'll guide you through this.
Okay, thanks.
Okay,
818-794-0722. Leave your hot and heavy hotline calls. We haven't had that in a while.
You can also send an email if you want.
To perhaps contact@coycast.com.
Hey, what are where do they go to maybe leave like things about the show?
They can leave a comment on Spotify now, which is fairly new, like in the last year or so. You can also leave reviews over at iTunes. There are all sorts of review allocations there. You can leave a 5-star rating if you so choose, a 4 even. We understand, but please don't leave a 1. I mean,
hey, what if they want to support the show monetarily?
Well, they can head to Coycast.com where they can get shirts, they can get mugs, they can get all sort of authentic merch. I'm a little flattered there's fake merch, but authentic merch at Coycast.com. And you can also become a unpunchable gift horse there, as well as a regular patron. And this show is completely funded by the patrons. We do not have any ad reads. We are literally brought to you by viewers like you.
Oh my God, we are. Coycast is presented by viewers, by listeners like you. We need to record that.
I've never once considered for PBS in this bitch.
We need to record that. Okay.
Public.
Hey, what about how they find us on the social medias if they are so inclined?
If you are so inclined, you can hunt us down at Jake Lloyd Bacon. That way you don't get confused with any Star Wars characters. And you can find me at Coy Jandro, which will probably confuse you because my name looks like a Star Wars name. A lot of vowels.
And okay, I think it's everything.
It's a very short outro.
I think we did it.
Yeah, we did. You know what, guys? Peace be with you. I'll see you next week. Patrons will be back in a few days with lots of fun stuff to talk about in theaters. Got some crazy picks, and then regular listeners will be back in 2 weeks, maybe 3, because schedules are a little crazy.
Oh yeah, because you're going to be at
Comic-Con the day we record.
So our next recording day is a Comic-Con day. So we may be dark in the main pod that week, but we might not. We might try to work something out.
Yeah, we might attempt, but worst case, it'll be 1 week dry, but you'll still get 2 this month.
Yeah,
the way the month lines up, there are options to perhaps miss that one. So you'll still get 2 this month, and then we will not be missing any patrons. So we'll be back real soon. Much love. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And thank you, as always, to Comic Books for existing. We'll see you soon.
More than 400 years ago, there was a man who lived in Stratford-upon-Avon named Shakespeare. This is the man many consider to be the greatest writer of all time. Of course, the few things we really know about this guy are that he sold grain, didn't bother to teach his children to read or write, and was kind of a jerk to his wife, especially in his last will and testament. Meanwhile, 100 miles away from Stratford, on Elizabethan stages, plays were being performed written by someone signing the name William Shakespeare, a writer who often lampooned the monarchy and put his life at risk by doing so. The sort of thing that one may use a pseudonym for, sort of to, protect their identity. Surely you see where I'm going with this. A mistake was made all those years ago, and we attributed those legendary works to the wrong dude. Which begs the question, who really was William Shakespeare? Join me, Stephen Sable, as I invite historians, researchers, lawyers, artists, authors, and more to explore this fascinating mystery of Shakespeare authorship on my podcast called Don't Quill the Messenger. You can hear it now at don'tquillthepodcast.com or wherever you're listening to this podcast right now.
It's Dragon Wagon.